Sure, let's do it. You played against Flash.
Yeah, this game was against Flash, where I try going for like 3-hatch Hydraling Bane. I end up winning it, but like when I watched your game against him, he did the same opener. You held it a bit better, but you kill him with just Zerglings and stuff, and I just never feel like I have those opportunities for advantage. I feel like, I don't know, I just barely claw my way through the game. Instead of being able to capitalize on anything.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Yeah, I made him a little bit louder. Same shit. Let's run it back. Okay. I mean, I played... Is it the 16 Marine drop or the 2-on-1?
I think he does the Hellion drop, if I recall right.
Hellion drop? Okay.
And then he chirps the map. Guy paused a million times in game 1.
Hatch gas pool. Yeah, you still go hatch first, right?
Yeah, I've been experimenting with pool first. I actually like doing pool first, just to keep the Reaper back at home. Pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean it's fine if it works for you. Hatch. Okay, I'm gonna speed it up a bit. It goes for
one of the things, like I used to have this like bad mentality, like if I see Reactor Factory, I'd have to drop a Roach Warren, and then I'd like transition into Mutas, and it was just like this stupid crap. Now I just basically like, I decide I'm gonna go like Lingbane Hydra and just kind of stick with that shit. Like I don't need Roaches to deal with the Hellions. I don't know. It's been working better.
Yeah, makes sense. So Starport, yeah, it goes for the normal Starport opener. You don't build additional queens immediately. Well, you go for 3 queens. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You're droning. Droning is correct. I mean, your macro is actually pretty good. I mean, right now you see, you also have like these kind of production pauses. Like, I would really like. I know macro is kind of like a weird thing to talk about, but if you check your larva count, like, do you remember the
7 a second ago? Yeah.
Like now, yeah, I just went back a bit. Oops, sorry. Like just check like your larva count and then your production tab. Like your money will spike up a bit. Like you could always produce units in this time. It's only a couple of seconds, but you know, like it's good to get the mechanics down. Like that's something you can always improve on. Like it's at 7 right now, and you have 300 minerals. Now you're building for a couple drones, and then you build the rest. But like you could, like it's important to have that good flow in there.
Yeah. So it was at that point the Overlord kind of peeked in there and scouted everything, and I had a hint that it was a drop. I know I could have defended it because I started thinking, you know, like if he's going for the medevac, like where else is he gonna go? He's not gonna attack my third. I might as well just have all my stuff pooled in my main.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, it makes sense.
So I kind of have this habit of just splitting my units across the bases. I don't really defend as effectively. I'm not too sure how this one went.
Yeah, okay. So you have, like, what I always do is I put 1 Overlord, 2 Overlords in my main. I just do it around the 4-minute mark. Like I build 2 Overlords in my main, that send 1 in the south part of the main and 1 in the more of the north part. And then when I see the drop coming, I can hold it pretty easily. And another thing you can scout for is if he, like, you have an Overlord here, right? So you see when he moves out with his units. If he doesn't really move out with the Hellions, doesn't attack you with the Hellions, then there's a good chance he's going for a drop. And if he's not going for the drop around the 4-minute 30 mark, he's probably going for a Hellbat timing. Like you can kind of like, okay, so he doesn't go for the drop, well, but he builds Hellions. I guess he's going to use the Hellions for something else. So it'd be like, well, I mean, there would be no point in waiting with Hellions until I have Roaches or Banelings out, so it's probably Hellbats.
So yeah, because I don't get like Overlord speed, that's why I used to like react with the Roach Warren in case it was like Hellbats. But I think now against like any sort of Reactor Factory build, I should just maybe. What do you think about delaying maybe the double evos for a faster Bane nest and just respond to like any Hellbat potentiality with the Banelings and Queens?
You can defend Hellbats with Queen only.
Really?
Yeah.
How many queens should I have?
I usually defend it with 7 queens.
Okay.
Like the way I build queens is I go for 2 queens, then I build 2 additional queens, And then I'm at 4, right? So I have 1 queen for larva, 1 queen for creep spreading, and 3 more queens. And then I start another wave of queens once my third base starts finishing, and then I go for 7 queens. Then I have 3 queens for injecting, 4 queens for creep spreading. Like you have 6 right now, so I would have 1 more, but like 6 is fine as well. And if I get attacked by halberds, I just pull all the queens together.
Even the ones that are like sitting for injecting, you just pull everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because queens are really good against halberds. Yeah, I mean, your health is fine. Like, it's okay to spread creep there. Usually I just put overlords there. Because once you spread creep, you can also move them a little bit more outside to see. You always have to be careful with Hellions. And you're preparing for Banshees already, I assume?
Well, I wasn't really prepared for the Liberator follow-up, but I mean, the power of queens kind of just took care of it, I guess. But it was when I seen the Liberator, I just decided I think to chuck a Spore in each mineral line.
Yeah, you have to be careful, because if he goes for like Banshees, like it's pretty easy for a turn to go for Banshees, and if they do go for Banshees, you really need a Spore in each mineral line.
Yeah, because the layer is like super layered.
Yeah, I mean, you can scout for it. I just sack an Overlord, and then I see what's going on. Or you can just blindly assume. If there's a tech lab on the starport, Banshees are always a threat, and then...
So at this point, I kind of just started taking a bunch of gas and like resaturating my bases.
Yeah, exactly.
Gas.
Yeah, like 6/3. Like you should be a little bit higher in economy, but like if you
yeah. So I think I'm late scouting the 3rd, but when this Overlord peeks in and sees the 3rd, I guess what I should do is like saturate my 3rd like crazy, take the 4th.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know how much more I can get away with.
Like when you see that, oops, oh I pressed. Oh, sorry, it's fine. Like when you see he's going for a 3rd command center, it's usually fine to drone up your bases and just defend with queens. The problem, the reason why you defend with queens and not with lings is that queens don't cost larva, right? So you can pump out more drones. Like it's okay to build lings, especially again. You always need a couple of lings because else Hellions drive in and stuff like that, or he drops you. But like the important goal is for Zerg usually is to get out as many drones as quickly as you can, and then you can tech fast. And once you have teched fast, you can do basically whatever you want. But the key problem with your play right now is that you have no upgrades, no layer, no baneling nest. Like you're mining gas, but you're not really doing anything with it. Like why didn't you start your upgrades, for example?
I think I already finished. Wait. No, yeah, my upgrades I guess are a little bit delayed because I was doing the Liberator crap.
It's okay, yeah, you start them now, okay.
And there is a point, I don't know if there's anything I could do better to like optimize the build, but I find like right when I'm trying to get Hydras, I start floating a lot of minerals and gas until I can dump it all into the Hydras.
Yeah. Like usually at this point, when I have my bases saturated and I take the additional gas, I just double expand or like build a hatch and a macro hatch. Unless I'm up against a 2-base all-in maybe, then I might go for more queens, you know. But like
at some point I start realizing I'm floating an epic shit ton and I should drop a macro hatch shortly.
Yeah. Like if you're
I hope it's soon.
Yeah, like you should if you saturated your you take your 4th now, like if you saturated your bases, always take the 4th base. Unless you're going for roaches, then it's not that important. So it's going for that drop play, okay? Does he not have halberds? And now your queens are coming, and with the queens it should be a pretty easy hold. Yeah, I even messed up. Yeah, like if you have queens there, queens defend everything.
I underestimate the queen.
Yeah, the thing is, queens are really good early game when Terran doesn't have upgrades, because they kind of, I think they attack twice with every hit against ground units. So once Terran get their missile upgrade, your queens become weaker, you know, because your queens only get carapace and Terran gets both upgrades on his marines. So that's why in late game queens get weaker and weaker against marines, but they're still very important against tanks.
Yeah, it was something I never really thought about too much, about the fact, you know, queens, they don't take larva, and you can just keep building them while making drones early on. Maybe I should get the extra two or three queens with this and defend with them and make more drones. Yeah, like I also oftentimes build a couple of lings, and then like you always want like 8 lings at least at home, like 8 or even 16, because if like around this time when I like hold like a couple bits of aggression, I feel like I can move out, make units to replace the ones that I'm about to like suicide and try to do like economic damage. But like another question here is like I run these lings in and you'll see they don't really do fuck all for me, in all honesty. But if I had banelings, maybe I can't help but feel like I'd actually maybe get something out of this.
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay, well I picked up some units, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and you also keep his medivacs at home, you know? Like, he's pushing out with only one medivac right now. I think what you're lacking is banelings. Why do you not have banelings at at home? Yeah, now we're seeing the problem, right? He's gonna kill your fourth, I think. If you attack...
I hold this like a gun. I don't know how I hold this. I honestly don't know.
Oh, the link flank. Yeah, the link flank did a lot of work for you. Like, the tanks...
I'm sure I just hit F2 and prayed.
Yeah, it went well, dude. Yeah, but usually like the counter, it's okay to just counter with links, and you can oftentimes, if you just attack him with 20 links right now, you might get a tank, like over there. Like not when he's home with everything, but against marine tank, link counter attacks can be really effective. I would not do baneling attacks unless you have baneling speed.
Okay.
And you should always have banelings at home to defend. Like you always need some banelings. Because links without banelings are practically useless at this stage of the game. I mean, they're still pretty good, but like they get a lot better if you have a couple banelings in there, you know? Like connect with 4 or 5 banes and everything dies. Yeah, I see what's going on though. I think I actually have a really nice replay to show you afterwards on this game, on this kind of gameplay, but I can kind of show you what I mean.
How like all my ZvTs start looking like, and like once I start feeling safe, I try to like get out on the map and do like harass. It's oftentimes I'll end up getting pulled back home and like having to deal with this.
Yeah,
I'm only just now starting to get a little bit better at like pre-splitting my army and having it like potential drop locations, just like stop it all in general.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty hard to do that as well, and or even like but even the difference between having 20 links at the front and having 10 links at the front and 10 links at the back when you're attacking an army can be huge as well, you know, like just these little flanks, like all of a sudden it's like, oh no, if I run backwards, maybe I run into banelings and then the tanks start shooting behind the army and the banelings roll in. Like, it makes a huge difference. Your creep spread is really good, but like one thing that you should try to work on, because I mean, I know we're not really seeing it this game, but like taking engagements, you know, like the way you did, like having links run in from the back and the front, running in with your queens before you run in with the hydras, microing the banelings, like those are the.
You'll see a bit of that later on, or at least in the second replay. This will come down to like a huge engagement, and it's kind of funny because my queens are like so far out of position when it goes down, but I still somehow managed to do it.
Yeah, your unit split.
But like I never feel like I do any sort of damage though with like the counter attacks. Like these banelings, he's already prepared at this point. I can't help but wonder if like maybe I made the banelings earlier when I moved out. I could have like maybe did more eco damage earlier on in the game to be in a better position where I'm at now.
Yeah.
But like I just don't know these timings to like where I could get that eco damage in and squeeze it in when I'm not too busy defending from like 20 different attacks.
Like you can try to do like a baneling harass timing, but when your baneling speed is done, you know, like without baneling speed, doing like a baneling harass with 4 banelings is not gonna do much. You might get really lucky, but chances are it's not gonna work out. Usually, like what you could do, for example, is just send in like 3 links over there and then be like, okay, I see where his tanks are, I cannot do a baneling attack. Like you have to scout with links, you know, like you just send a couple links in. A link costs 25 minerals. But if that one link is able to tell you where all his army or where all his tanks are, you'd be like, okay, I see. Like you really need to get vision on his army. It's like an oracle, you know.
Yeah.
Let's see what's gonna happen here. Yeah, he's pushing. He's doing a really weird spread out push.
I think he scanned my hive, and I kind of figured he was gonna do this type of thing, and my
yeah.
are like not in a good place, and I feel like at this point what's going through my head is I can't engage him. Holy shit, he's got a lot of tanks. I'm gonna lose the game if these ultras don't come out any second.
I think
he's hitting before 3-3 too, but I don't know, maybe I underestimate my army a bit.
Yeah, but like the big problem that I see is if we go back a little bit is the way you're preparing yourself for this engagement. Like right now Wait, I'm gonna go ahead a bit, and then you'll see when the problem arises. Like here you see his army, and then I think you do the F2 move, right? You do the F2.
Probably, yeah.
And these links right here, if you left them up there and maybe mix in like 6 Banes, that would be really good, right? You go for a flank and you have like this. You already had the flank prepared, you know.
Yeah.
But then they're all going to be down here and really clumped up. But if instead you moved some banelings and links up there, that could be really good, you know. The queens are coming, which is nice. Then they turn around and are like, fuck this shit.
I didn't want to like charge in there and lose them before the ultras.
Yeah.
If I lost my queens, I feel like I'd probably lose the game there.
Yeah, but
so I didn't really want to commit with this either because I didn't have the ultras yet.
Yeah, I think you could have. I think you could have crushed him there. I mean, your ultras don't have the carapace upgrade anyways. So.
Yeah, you'll see how quick the tank is like.
Yeah, I mean, like if he's on creep like that, you can definitely take the fight. And the queen transfuse is really good. Yeah, I feel like you could have already won it with the first engagement, you know?
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, look at this. Right, we're gonna look at it again, because it's kind of important. It's gonna move out soon, right? Yeah, there we go. Like, but with a flank, and even if you just pulled in the queens right now, you could get so much done. You always have to be a bit careful that the marines don't just stim down the queens, so that's like the dangerous thing.
Yeah, I don't.
But I feel like right here, if you micro your banelings, you could have crushed that, definitely, I think. But yeah.
Alright.
I mean, it ended up fine anyways. Oops, shouldn't go that fast. The transfuses were really good. You do rapid fire transfusion, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's good.
Never going back to the old ways.
Better not.
Even with like the injects on my queens when they're like floating energy, rapid fire transfuse. I have no excuses though if I have any queens with big energy at my bases.
He's going for liberators right now. You always need to build a spire when you have ultras out, and especially if you win a fight like that. Yeah, I mean you even see it, right? Right now you have to build a spire. Against liberators all you really can do is... I mean you can also abduct them, you know, but... You can abduct them, you can technically kill them with hydras. But I feel like a spire is much more effective.
So at this point he just never gets his base up and I kind of just whittle him down, hit his economy hard.
Like,
I think he just stays a little too long.
Yeah, I mean even right now, like imagine you're sending in 10 links from there. And maybe you could even like split off another 20 links and attack him there as well. Like you could take out the tank. You can get a good engagement by having a couple links around the marine group there, the 10 links that you send in from the south.
Yeah.
The tanks will not shoot at the unit. Like you're at the level where your macro is pretty good, but you still need to get the engagement taken in there, like taking the fights really well. Not just the micro while you're attacking him, but also like the how to position yourself before you take the fight, because that's how a lot of fights are won.
Everybody says because I play Zerg, I should just hit F2 at a move.
That's not how it works. Yeah.
It's a lie. Thank God.
Yeah, F2 means if you press F2, that means you select all army type. But another small trick that you can use is when you're attacking, you just have like a single ling in front of your army, and then the tank will fire its first shot at that ling, right? Because that's how tanks work. So you can always buffer like one shot from the tank like that. Like it's little things like that can really help. But those are like the small little micro ticks that you see really good players use, and that's also why they win fights much more clean. Yeah, you're building the spire, the ultras are doing work. Tanks are not really doing work.
I don't know if I stay my welcome here type thing, but I do end up getting the base.
It's fine, as long as he doesn't have the if he has liberator circles on the planetary, then all you can do is run. I would just attack him over there immediately now, so he has to regroup again. Like, there's no reason
Yeah.
for you to not to, right? Yeah, but I mean, otherwise it's fine. You can
And then he just
heal
does
the
this,
ultras. Yeah.
crap where like tries to harass and keep me back, closing the game
Yeah.
out, but the corruptors seal the deal here. But in like the other replay, the guy goes ghost when I'm going spire, and I don't know, like I'm not able to really do anything. He just like kills my army. I can't move across the map, and I have to defend, and it was really weird.
Yeah. I mean,
But also the guy in the other replay was GM.
that's of course. But like against ghosts, you really need banelings. It's kind of usually how it works. Or the Liberator is so annoying.
Yeah.
That, yeah, and against Liberators, you can also go for Vipers, you know, and just abduct them. Because if you abduct them, they move out of their siege mode.
Are hydras even something like at some point I ended up remaking like all those hydras that you see in my army. I don't know if that was like good or if I should have just maybe spent those resources into like the Vipers, as you say.
Yeah, Hydras can be good, but the problem is that you don't have armor upgrades, you know, ranged upgrades. So Hydras do a lot less damage than they should do right now. But they're not that effective at this stage of the game because of their upgrades. But I also oftentimes just remake a couple Hydras, especially if my Corruptors aren't out yet. Because they help dealing with Medivacs and stuff like that. They can shut down drops or even Liberator harass. So I think going for some Hydras is a pretty good thing to do, yeah.
Alright.
And the Corruptors are really good, yeah. Leaving that one at 12 HP and the other one at 24 HP.
Calculated.
Calculated, leaving the enemy alive. Yeah, but I mean, this is over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he leaves because he has nothing. Yeah, it's a pretty good game though.
Do you want to show me a replay or did you want to...
Now let's go to the other one first.
Okay. You can pretty much probably skip through most of the early stuff. It should probably look identical.
Man, losing against such stupid cannon rushes is so frustrating.
Losing to Protoss in general is frustrating.
Yeah. Mass Oracle. I lost against...
Units that requires like zero thinking.
Oh, it's
like,
groovy, man.
portals.
I lost against Mass Oracle Chargelet in the tournament as well. the Chargelets alone would probably kill my entire army already. I hit Hydra Infestor, I was like, okay, here come the Oracle, and it's just like 40 Chargelets running at me. Like, fungal, and then the Oracles come in, bzz, 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 bzz. Yeah. Let's see how this one
I
goes.
played this decent. It was my first game of the day too.
Yeah?
But no excuses. I think I played it out okay. I mean, I was actually impressed with myself because he was GM and I like got to ultras without dying.
Yeah, but he's an HGM, dude.
That's true. I guess that's true. There is a difference there.
Yeah, I heard Winter is GM on NA. I heard Avalo is GM on NA. Not anymore. Ooh.
Oh, calculated.
Yeah, that the GM skill. I played against GM Terran today, who lost his Reaper against Lynx.
Damn.
Oh, that 400, yeah, that 400 APM, 600 APM GM Terran play.
Hey. I think I spam my keys a little too much too. I don't know how to tell with this user interface I'm using, but my APM is probably much higher than it needs to be.
I mean, it's
Probably a lot
fine.
of
Like,
spam.
yeah, it's normal.
I just tell myself I'm a Zerg player. I'm forced to try 10 times harder than my opponent
Yeah.
in order to stand a chance.
You know what would help?
What?
Spending your larva in the early game better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. You take. But when did you take the? Yeah, gas taking is fine. Double. I usually use the evolution chambers to wall off a little. Like you can put the 2 evolution chambers right next to where your drones are going right now, and so you cannot run into the upper half with Hellions. But it can also be bad, you know, against marine drops.
Yeah, I guess that's something to think about. I guess with like his opener against factory stuff, knowing it's Hellions, I could do that.
Yeah.
For sure. I just had bad experiences when I was in like a lower league, like bio tank and my own stuff, like getting funneled into a choke.
Yeah.
But no, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Like,
you guys do some fancy ass shit here, and I try not to lose all my links. For
it's trying some fancy ass shit. There's money goes up to like 5,000 minerals. Like, the Hellion will get another link kill. Meanwhile, forgets 40 SCVs at home. Yeah.
This Banshee though, which is I guess different from the other game. This I wasn't really prepared for.
Yeah, I just built when I have my bases saturated at the latest. I just built some spores. Like a spore per base against factory openers, because either you're gonna deal with Ravens, Liberators, or Banshees every game, right? Hello, Shorty.
Yeah, so you think as a rule of thumb then once 3 bases are saturated, just chuck spores?
I think you need, I'm not sure, like the timing kind of depends on when he, like how he opens. Whether he goes straight Banshee, whether he goes Viking into Banshee, Medivac into Banshee, Medivac into Viking, Banshee. But like at the latest when the Medivac arrived at your base, just build some spores. I usually build them at like 4 minutes 40, I think. 4 minutes 40-ish. Yeah, I mean, this... the Banshee does a lot of damage to you. Hey, you're still adding workers, so you're pretty fine.
Yeah, I got
pretty fine.
Now too.
Yeah.
My Bane Nest, I guess, was a little bit late.
Yeah, it's okay, dude. It happens. Your Carapace was also a bit late.
Yeah.
Now you take your 4th, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. You can take it. You can always take the 4th fast, but I mean, you got harassed by a Banshee, so of course it delayed a bit because of that as well. And then the tank push. This one, against this tank push, you don't have baneling speed, so you need to be a bit careful. Like, you can crush this with mass links, but you don't have enough links.
It was right here where I seen it, and I didn't really know, like, until he was on my creep now, like, what I was dealing with, and I didn't really have much either.
Yeah, it happens to me too. It's... But he's really slow. Yeah. It's like, he's trying to get some harassment done here, but...
Oh wow, I love how that mine didn't fire off it.
Yeah, I was lucky. Like, see, even right now, if you just attack him with a couple links from over here, you know? Like, it really breaks him. Like, if you're going to go for...
something, yeah, I've never actually, like, given thought until you, like, brought it up now. So I'm definitely going to work on taking these engagements better.
Yeah, like, it really matters a lot. Like, if you watch somebody like Stefano play... I'm not kidding here. Stefano would... Every single fight he takes, he always comes from every direction possible. And he always takes them at really opportune moments.
Nice. I was actually surprised that I cleaned this up.
Yeah.
I guess once the Hydras were able to come out, now I got 2-2.
Yeah. You didn't build a macro edge, so you're gonna float some money, I think.
Yeah. That was definitely a problem this game.
And you don't have banelings yet again. The banelings. That tank there, he's abandoning it or what? I mean, like the thing was, it was just a push, but there was no follow up to it, you know?
I don't even have vision of it, I don't even realize it's still there. I do see that he takes this base though.
Oh yeah, it's good. Then you just send some links there, yeah, like the links can do a lot of work here. Yeah, like small link harassment like this is really good. Then you kill the tank, the lone tank. The marine drop comes back, the marine drop in your main. You even left some units there, it's really good. But at this stage you almost want to have some banelings there as well. Like, I don't know, the marines are gonna do a lot of work. Then they eventually have to leave. And you have a spore there, so it's gonna get cleaned up. Yeah, dealing with Terran harassment can be really hard, because Terran just attacks you everywhere and does damage, while he then has to focus on one thing at a time, right? Now you attack this drop, now this drop. Yeah. You can hit the F2, but you just have to put the units back where they are supposed to be, which also takes a lot of effort. And yeah, it's gonna attack you now. Usually what I do to watchtowers is I just drop a changeling there, you know? Like you have an overseer anyways, or like 2 or 3 overseers. Then I just drop changelings at the watchtowers.
Yeah.
That kind of helps me spot attacks.
Nice.
Because changelings don't get F2'd. Like you can F2 and your changeling won't move, right? Like here again, if you attack him from here and here, it's gonna be completely different. Whereas if you just attack him head on, it's kind of bad. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be fine anyways. You have a lot of Hydras.
Yeah. Pretty sure at this point I'm like, alright, I'm cut off. No more Hydras.
Yeah. You have to be careful if you build so many Hydras, you know? Like if all your DPS comes... Like Hydras are really good to have, but if all your DPS comes from Hydras, it's kind of risky. Because you don't upgrade the Hydras, and if your Ling Bane gets overpowered, then your Hydras are like, hey, I'm dead now. It's almost like... What the fuck? Yeah, it's like, yeah, well, I cannot macro anyway, so I guess I'm just gonna scan. What? He's like trolling.
I don't know, I got scared because he scanned my army and moved towards me. I'm like, wow, if he's moving towards me, he must have like one heck of an army. He must be ready to fight. So I just...
Yeah, I mean, if these links were counterattacking him up there right now, like he would be like, shit. He'd have to lift the command center, lose SCVs, but then the links just end up dead.
Like, I'm always afraid to move out and do stuff like that with my army because
drops.
I'm afraid I'm just gonna get dropped. Yeah, the moment I move out.
Yeah, but like that's just something you have to live with. Either you leave like a part of your army hotkeyed and another hotkey to deal with drops, because like even now, like the drop is gonna do damage to you anyways, right? Like the drop is gonna kill that base, and even it doesn't matter whether you're on the map or not. You're going for ultras, okay? It's the same thing as last game.
Yeah, but I mean, this time he's prepared. He's got Liberators and Ghosts.
Yeah, you need a lot more MMR on Europe to get GM, but getting GM on NA is still pretty cool. But
So like I see him moving out different areas. I know he's got that medevac up there, so I just started trying to split my stuff, or I should be. And I wanted to attack this base because I had ultras. I felt like maybe I could have hit a timing or something.
yeah, with ultras you can always make something work. I'm curious what the ghosts are gonna do against you.
Oh my god, you don't want to know.
Like, you never play with infestors, why?
Honestly, my experience so far in ZvT, since I at least like jumped like 2 levels in skill with this like macro anyways, was make ultras, A move, win game.
Yeah, but infestors are really gonna be important. Like, especially if you go higher up, because the burrow infestor, like imagine if your burrowed banelings could move. That is what...
Once I actually seen that he had ghosts, I do go for the infestors, but I think, I mean, at that point it's probably too late.
Yeah, I mean, like you don't...
Just making corruptors. I think it's just, I don't know.
Like, you usually don't build the infestors to counter ghosts, right? I mean, at least not in my games.
I don't really know how to handle ghosts. They like literally blow up my ultras and then my army just melts in tanks.
I mean, you're doing this pretty well. Like, you could do a little bit more counter aggression, like especially at the base over there right now. Just a couple of links, you know. And now you're going there with your entire army, so he's going to move his around. But if you just attack him there with links, like stuff like that does a lot of damage. A lot of Terran. Here's a little thing you might not know. Most Terrans do not go past like 4 bases. They usually build 3 command centers and then they just fly. They make them into orbitals, then they fourth a planetary, and then they start flying their orbitals. That's what a lot of Terrans do. Because then their main starts mining out. So you can usually harass their base or like that pretty easily. Yeah, Liberator Ghost is a tough combo to deal with, because he's kind of playing the I'm gonna build an army that you cannot beat game.
I think I rage quit too at one point, and he said to me after the game that I shouldn't have left because I had like 3 broodlords, but they were on my side of the map. And I feel like the time they would have even gotten across the map, he'd have like 15 Vikings.
Let's see. Yeah, it's going for nukes, ghosts. This is another good attack. But like the Hydras are going to start losing their effectiveness. Like a late game against Terran, especially like just get at least upgrade their missile if you go for that many Hydras. It doesn't cost you a lot, but it gives you a lot of value, you know. Here come the ghosts.
Yeah.
Do you know how to deal with ghosts?
Not really. Honestly, I've never played a Terran that made ghosts.
Yeah, I lost against a guy with Fling Hydra Baning who went mass ghost. Like, the thing is, usually Terrans don't make ghosts because they're so expensive, but if he has this, like, they cost an insane amount of money per supply. They're like infested second attack, you know.
Yeah.
So what you do is you just build a bazillion Banelings, and then, I mean, do you remember my coaching session on Raven stuff?
I think so, briefly.
Yeah, like, what you do against them is you either if they're supported with mech, you need the swarm host, and or against Bio you either need to go for broodlords, like just mass broodlord, because if he goes for ghosts, like he's not gonna have mass Viking, mass ghost, mass 4. Like you can, like, even Terran has limited amounts of resources, right?
Yeah.
If it's complete with Bio, Infestor Broodlord is really good against it. Or if you just add a lot of Ling Baneling if he doesn't have many tanks. Against this, you could just go mass Ling Bane, I think. But they also do a lot of damage to Ling, so you need some ultras in there, so like Ling Bane Ultra. Hydra. I mean,
because I don't know, like he's got so many Liberators and the Ghost. Do you think like base trading is the right move here? Because that's what I end up doing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
this weird spot where I just don't feel like I can take a good.
I mean, you're just throwing units away at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Like, what you could do is, like, once again, if you just attack him from here, here, and here at the same time, like, it's gonna be a different fight, you know?
What if I fungled him here?
If you fungled him here, and he would lose his stuff. Or, I mean, you cannot snipe if he's fungled.
Would it cancel the snipe if
Yeah.
it's already, like, active?
Yeah, but you cannot run into a Liberator's head on with ultras, like that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you need to take a smart engagement here. I mean, like, he's trying to take smart fights, so you cannot be like, oh, I'm just gonna...
Do you think because he was, like, already in position and I wasn't, like, prepared for the attack to get, like, a multi-surround engagement?
Yeah, I mean...
just back off? Or
yeah, I mean...
trade? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would just... what I would do is I would definitely surrender the base down there and just, like... he's nuking his own base.
Yeah, this side I wasn't even looking. My attention was drawn away. I'm pretty sure I lose like everything. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, ouch. And then I YOLO pull everything back. It's like, okay, now I'm gonna defend. I don't want him to poke up and hit my natural and get all my tech.
I mean, like, if you just go for a counter, that's really good. And, like, you have to fight him out of position. It's stupid to engage into him when he's in perfect position and you don't really have much to defend. I mean, you can just take 2 additional bases and drop the one down here, then when he's gone, you retake it, right?
Yeah, something I didn't realize is when I did that attack, I took out his Ghost Academy. Not realize, like, I didn't even see my stuff get nuked.
Yeah. Even Vipers, Vipers against Ghosts are not that good, but like more Broodlords would have been really nice. Yeah, here you actually go for like, look at the Baneling flank. If those connect even better with the Ghosts, that could have been insane. Even here, like, some funnels, like, you can kill this. Not if you let everything get blown up, though, but you're still in a really good spot, because he is not spending his money. He did not spend his money, what the fuck? What's he doing?
Yeah, he had a bank, and, like, I don't know.
But, like, yeah. I mean, you see...
I did take a lot of damage. I don't know. What
Okay.
comes to your mind after that?
Like, first of all, don't take fights if you know you're gonna lose them.
Yeah.
Like, just... If it's not that you losing the game, if if you don't defend that, just go for a counter or something. If he has his entire army down there, you can just kind of ignore it, you know. Like
Flash, like he makes these bases planetaries, and I definitely can't ever get any damage done. But like even when I was running back over here to defend, if I sent like a couple lings or it was like more active, or even there was times like I had 15 corruptors not doing anything, I probably could have taken down a base or something.
You could have won this. This game was winnable, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even though like you played really bad in the late stages before you won the fight at your fourth, fifth base.
I'm hoping by like adjusting and taking better engagements and stuff, I'll just have more and that'll snowball.
Yeah, I mean, like taking better engagements is kind of easily said, right? But it's like you really need to focus on it, you know. Like, it's gonna make a huge difference if you start taking actually good fights. Like you really like the way you learn how to take good fights is you just like when you watch Dark play or when you watch Soup play or I don't know when you watch me play or whatever. Like try to look how we take the engagements. Like it's sometimes hard to figure out that stuff by yourself. Like you really need to look at the players and like get that stuff done. Like where do they engage with the queens? Where have they set up their flank? Like there's this famous video of Stefano at the MLG against Marine King. And Marine King pushes across the map and like an army that would kill anybody, and Stefano just attacks him from 360 degrees with Ling Baneling, funnels the entire army of Marine King, and Marine King is gone. And like people are like, what? Like everybody just starts screaming. Cause like like first of all take better engagements. Corruptors are fine against ghosts, maybe get Broodlords. Against Mass Tank, maybe get Broodlords or Vipers.
Maybe go towards Festers before Broodlords. Would make more sense.
You should always get Infestors when you go for Ultras.
Alright, yeah.
But if you have...
After I went Ultras, my idea was get the Spire so I wouldn't get dropped and deal with the Liberators. But I think after that, I should have got like Burrow way earlier. Like I have the money.
Yeah.
I should have got like the Infestor upgrades before like investing in the Greater Spire. I don't know. Things like that could be optimized better, I guess.
I mean, you know the rule, right? 4 gas is for up until your upgrades are on the way. 6 gas is so you can build your Lingbane Hydra. 8 gas is so you can take your Hive, and 10 gas is so you can build anything you want in the game.
Nice.
Like 8 gas is what you need to get Hive. Like if you don't have 8 gas, playing Hive can be really hard because you cannot afford Banelings, Ultralisks, or Broodlords and Vipers. Like you cannot afford everything. But with 8 gas, you can afford pretty much everything.
Yeah, but like my games have been getting a lot more successful for sure since I like stopped overreacting and feeling like, hey, I need to get a Roach Horn and like 7 roaches before I can start droning again, just because I seen like Hellions and a Reactor Factory type crap. But like that's kind of, I think I asked you this yesterday too about like Zerg versus Protoss. Like if I scout Twilight, Adept and stuff, and I'm like my goal is to hit like a Hydra Link Bane timing. Should I even like ignore the Roach Warren there? Because I usually would hold the Adepts with Roach Ling, but if I just use Ling Baneling, would that like help me hit the timing a lot quicker? Would it like make things more optimized? I don't know.
Well, you're wasting a lot of money on roaches, right?
Yeah.
I think it would be better if you could hold it with Ling Bane. The only time I think pretty much everybody goes against Twilight Counters, actually a lot of players do go roaches, but especially against Archon Drop, almost everybody goes roach because like Archons are really annoying to kill with Lings, right? He will just pick up, drop. Like on the other side of the map, the War Prism is still picking up the Archons, dropping them back down.
I don't always get the read that there's a DT shrine. I just kind of like assume DTs could be a follow-up against Twilight Opener, and around 4:30 I drop safety spores. But I guess then, what do you think? If I see DTs drop a Roach Warren, or if I see maybe a robotics facility or robotics, whatever the fuck it is, that makes a Warp Prism. What would be like the key for you in a game where you'd say, okay, I need a Roach Warren just in case I'm getting like Archon drop or something?
Like for usually DT drop or Archon drop cuts the Mothership Core. That's one thing. I'm not sure if Adepts also do. Then another thing is adepts are usually pretty easy to tell because the way they build works is they build one gateway, then they constantly produce adepts and send them across the map. Then they have one adept at home, build 2 additional gateways, and then build 3 adepts, warp in 3 more adepts, and walk across the map. That's kind of the tell I have. But the key difference between an adept push, an adept drop, I'm not quite sure, but the adept push and any form of warp prism plays the number of gateways. If you see 4 gateways and that Twilight Council, or 4 gateways in the Robo, then it's usually some form of drop play with either DTs or adepts, usually DTs. Or a charge slot all in and you're already dead, right?
Yeah.
Against charge,
charges. Will be like when I try to practice that is having the banelings maybe already ready for the adepts when they just decide to shade in the mineral line.
You can also hold it with pure ling.
Okay. Do you make like extra queens in the matchup or anything, or do you just have like maybe 1 extra for creep, or how do you really open up in ZvP?
I built. The difference is against Protoss, like the gas timings, everything is the same. What I do is that when my natural queen is done, I start another queen at the natural, and then I use that one for creep spreading. And when the 3rd queen is done, I build another one at the natural, and then I send those 2 queens down to my 3rd base so I can deal with the oracle, and I build a spore at both other bases and then a spore at my 3rd base. Okay. So I just constantly produce queens at my natural.
That makes sense. I did that when my natural queen's done. I make another one, but I kind of just stopped there.
Yeah.
Add in more queens.
I mean, I don't know if you can get much value out of it, but like a bit of creep spread, like even if like 4 tumors on the map, it can go pretty far, and like it helps you connect your bases. And
yeah.
So I just build 1 additional queen every game. Like the queen is not that good against Protoss unless they go for like oracle play, but because Protoss units have too much HP. You cannot kill them. Like I can fire at 2 adepts in my mineral line with 4 queens. I'm still gonna lose 10 drones, right? So it's not like 2 Hellions where the Hellions just die. Adepts don't die.
Dang. Solid.
So do you have another replay, or can I show you one? Or
you can show me. Those are like the only 2 I really had where I felt I played at my best, anyways.
Yeah, I'm gonna check quickly because I think
you would need me to switch to EU or anything.
Yeah, EU would be better for me. I'm gonna go there quickly. I mean, I could also download it and play it on NA, but I think it was on Ascension to Aya. Actually, I just played that game, I think, against Robichi. I just deleted like a gigabyte worth of replay files a couple days ago. Yeah, because in this game you're gonna see like the whole counter-attack thing a little bit. You were talking to me about or asking me about.
Alright. Robbie G.
Yeah, like 5.7, 5.6, I don't know. People's MR goes up and down a lot, so you never know. Actually went hatch first this game, believe it or not.
Wow. That's rare.
Yeah, I was busy. I had to give
What were you doing?
I had to give a guy my PayPal. Like the guy from the tournament. I was like, okay. And then I was like, oh shit, I'm going hatch first. Now watch this.
Oh wow.
Like, I was like, holy shit.
Rip.
Yeah. My queen timings are a little bit weird when I go hatch first, but I don't know, I always make it somewhat work, I think. I always go across the map with my links as well, but I saw the Marines heading out there. I thought it was Hellions, because I was like, no.
That's actually something I should do too. I should probably just grab the watchtowers right away.
Yeah, now watch this. Like, he's like trying to kill the Overlord. But speedlings are pretty good. Let's just go across the map. It's like flying the barracks. It's like, okay, mech it is, but it's actually not gonna be mech. Like at home I'm just macroing up right now, right? The usual. And see, like, I go for 4 queens, and then when my third base is done, I just build another wave of queens, and I use all these for defending. And that's how I
So
always
you
do
didn't
it.
get a scout off at the top of the ramp. You just seen the Hellion. So are you just like playing safe and assuming he might drop you or anything?
No, I mean like you do the same thing against pretty much every Terran opener. Like a 6 in Marine drop, I go 4 queens against Hellbats, 4 queens. The only thing against queens are bad is Force. Like Force will kill you really badly because like queens die so quickly against them. It's just a weird unit interaction. Like queens take one shot too few to kill, sadly. But yeah. I think I think he's going for Banshee, so you're gonna see my spore timing as well. Kind of depends on the games. Yeah, like I get them at like 450. I just build a spore for each mineral line, and then I'm safe in that regard as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, like see now I know he has these Hellions on the map, but I feel safe at home with my queens, so I just counter with my Lings. Like I built Lings, but I'm just gonna counter with them. Because
Oh, this is nice.
if he makes Hellbats, the queens can defend, right? Like 6 Hellbats will lose against 6 queens. Of course, I will have to make a couple Lings and kite a while, and maybe move the drones a bit from my third base. But I'm not really scared. If I can do counterattack damage at the same time, then that's really good. I didn't know I could have moved in there. Man, he would have died. Like the game would have been over there. I was like, no way. Like that's a wall off, but apparently it wasn't. And just go for another one. Ah, if only I saw. Yeah, then I pulled the Lynx home because I'm like, okay, time to defend. The Banshee arrives. Like macro-wise, everything is normal, right? The +1/+1 is on the way. I think I actually went Lair before the upgrades, because I was like, okay, if he's really going mech, I'm not gonna get the melee upgrade, but get the missile upgrade and just play Roach Hydra.
Yeah.
Because like against mech, it's actually pretty good to go Roach Hydra, right?
Yeah, that's something I still struggle with, mech.
Yeah, mech is another. If you want, you can show me some mech replays sometime. But like, it's difficult as well. I'm not quite sure how to beat it at the moment. I mean, if you watch Dark versus Innovation, right, where Dark dies to the same mech push over and over.
You know, the one replay I sent you to, right, where you're like, there's no way you could lose this game. And
yeah, exactly.
like, it wouldn't be a Digital's replay if I want, if I didn't find a way to throw the game.
I mean, I couldn't get my 4th really up here, so I had to cancel it. But like, I can spend my money pretty well. And I always keep these safety banes at home, you know, like, just in case he tries to attack me with something. His third is really late. So what I do is, I have these safety banes at home, and I feel pretty confident about that. Like, if I have the banings and queens at home, then I usually feel like I can move across the map and do damage. So I'm not sure why I'm moving out with the banings, I shouldn't do that, but like with the Lynx it's not really an issue. Like the queens are here to defend, that's good. And then I usually move out on the map. You're gonna see it soon, like I should have already done it, but I'm delaying it a bit. Just poking around. And then I'm just going for a link counter. If you have a lot of links and he's not really attacking you immediately, I usually go for a link counter. Because like the links wouldn't help me, right? The Hellions would still do the same thing they do right now. If I attacked him earlier, he would have probably died. But like right here, you see the links just go in. Catch the tank off guard. Kill off one tank, and one tank kill is already nice. And then I also get the Hellions in the middle of the map.
You have like one heck of a nice drone count too.
Yeah. I really need to drone. Droning is important, and I'm never sure when to get the hive.
How much do you go up to? Because I don't think I've made more than 70 in ZvT.
80 about.
Holy cow.
Like if I go hive, I go 80.
Do you feel like you still have enough like room for army supply though?
Yeah, of course. Like if you have more than enough room for army supply, because like right now it's a bit different. But once you have the once you have your infestors on the map, like infestors are really good for the amount of supply they cost, you know.
Yeah.
Like your army gets a lot better.
That's where I'm rattled. Like you hit this timing with Hydra Link, you defended. I defended in my game. I get Hydra Link, but it's like I don't know. Like you're able to just crush your opponents right now. I think I've just ended up trying to do minor harass while in the hive, and you just ended up saying screw it.
Yeah, I mean, I just noticed that he made mistakes, so I killed him, you know. Like it was really like when he lost the Hellions in the middle of the map, that's a huge part of his army gone, right? Then he lost the tank over here, so I was like, if he loses that tank, he cannot have that many tanks at home. And like, I'm not sure if I talked with you about this, but one of the very important things with Zerg when you take engagements, if we take a look at this engagement again, is building banelings. I'm gonna go ahead a bit. Sorry.
That's something else I'm gonna do too. I'm gonna leave like a small portion of army like banelings at home too with the queens.
Yeah.
Like, if I do get attacked, so I can be maybe more aggressive on the map and do like the run bys or scouting, or just being a little bit more active.
Yeah. But what I mean is, look at how look at what I do in this fight. Like I'm morphing the banelings now and then I go for the fight, right? And at home I'm building additional links. So what ends up happening is this is really key if you want to take good fights. I'm attacking him right now, and having these links there wouldn't really help me much, right? But I was able to go in and crush his tank count, and then here is my next wave of links and next wave of banelings already prepared, and I can just go in and, well, he's not ready for it and just dies. Because he does, like...
He blinked.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have a tank there either, you know, like I cleaned up the tank line, and then I always make, whenever I attack and I prepare and I want to go for a follow-up, I always morph some banelings. Because the banelings are going to be really important in the next wave of the attack, you know? Like you attack in waves. And you always want banelings in your attack waves. Yeah.
Always the banelings.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but that's pretty much what I wanted to
Did he take a fourth pretty early?
He?
Yeah, the Terran. Was his fourth like super early? Like I'm wondering why he wasn't able to like defend. Was it just because he like lost the Hellions and you were able to come
Well, he lost the Hellions, he lost the tanks, and then he always left his bio, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and his tanks are also in a weird position. Like, so I just... You just, like, you can poke, you know, and if you see it doesn't work, you turn around. And I also had, like I also have one infestor already here when my hive is on the way, you know. I can just add 2 more infestors right now, and then I just have some nice infestors that are accumulating energy when he counters me.
Was that just something you decided to go for, or was the going infestors before like ultras or anything?
You should always get like 1 or 2 infestors. 1 or 2 infestors don't cost the world. If you are on 8 gas, always take them. I'm not sure if I started I'm just taking the gas right now when my hive is finishing up, but it's always good to have like an infestor or 2. Yeah.
Cool. Alright, that makes sense.
Yep.
I've got my homework.
Good. If you need anything else, you can hit me up, or if you have any more questions.
Sounds good. I greatly appreciate it. And that definitely gives me a lot more clarity and stuff to work for, at least the direction of where I need to focus improvement on. And I could totally see too how the engagements and taking them differently would just like I find against Terran I'm like defending like 2 or 3 attacks before I have the freedom to kind of do anything. And if I actually took proper engagements, I'd have like probably so much more units left over. I'd have, I don't know, I'd create better opportunities for myself.
Yeah, the same thing is true against Protoss as well, by the way. Like, if you attack them from different places at the same time, like you can, for example, catch their High Templar off guard with a wave of banelings from behind or stuff like that. It's really important to do it against every race. I'm not sure if I don't know. No, I'm not sure if I replay for that. But yeah. Like if you just attack them from behind. Like you see good players like Cyril, they always attack with units from every angle.
Yeah.
That's important.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But I got to go, unfortunately. I gotta pick the wife up. But I appreciate this a lot.
Yeah.
And, I'm gonna work on this work.
Yeah, no problem, dude. Yeah, I hope you do.